What is your why? Why do you want to self-improve? Why do you want to get muscular? Why do you want to get rich? Why? If you don't have that why, or you barely have one at all, the endeavors you're striving for in your life will not be fulfilling. And there can only be one single terrible event that you can come across that can be most likely the reason why you could stop and never look back. How do you find your reason or why? And what's the importance of finding one? Well, I'm sure you saw a lot of videos about you needing to find a purpose or a mission, or you needing to find your vocation in life. And all of that stems from the objective truth that most people don't really know themselves and don't really care to. Just think about it. When was the last time you've ever had a eternal conversation with yourself? Like a true internal conversation with yourself, and you really learned your morals, your rule of thumb, your character, your passions, and what you see yourself doing in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, even 10 years. Probably not a lot. And obviously, that's normal, right? Live by the emotions and be in the present moment. Figure it out as you mature and grow as a person, right? Not quite. That's how people become lost and start absorbing other people's identity and numbing themselves to instant gratification, with the simple excuse of them wanting to live their life to the fullest. This is 99% of people's mindset. Do whatever their impulses tell them to do, and eventually, usually, go live an average and unfulfilling life, never having truly known what the type of person they actually are. I assume since you're watching this video, you're not the type of individual to want to have an average life, and you want to become the best at any field you're in. And I can assure you that if you learn your why and you learn the reasons why you should be continuing on with this purpose, it'll give you not only a deep layer and reasoning for your purpose to make it stronger and more sentimental, but also make it a reason why, or make it a defense point why, when you're feeling demotivated or feeling lazy, something of those sorts, to keep you accounted for and keep you coming back and keep you improving on that craft until you fulfill that purpose. I'll be saying 3 points first. First, on how to find your why. And second, how to have a deep connection with your why. So I'm just going to get started. Number 1, examine your pain points. So real quick, imagine your absolute worst version of yourself. The most incongruent you ever possible. This is like, if you met this person, you would want to punch them. You'll want to punch them. This is somebody you absolutely hate as a person. Deep hatred. You imagine them? Good. Okay, so now, I want you to think or write or type, whatever works best for you, habits, their occupation, their physical state, their mindsets, their relationships. Again, write or type it, whatever works best for you. Make yourself remember it in the best way you can possibly can. So now you got your worst version of yourself. Now you know what you don't want to be. Now I want you to make sure that you will not do a single habit or thing that your worst self does on a daily basis at all. I want you guys to be 2 completely different types of people. You have to make sure that you don't do anything your worst self does. I want like the 2 similarities between you and your worst self to be that like both of you guys are human, right? Supposedly, I don't know. This ChatGPT stuff, I mean, it's getting weird now. But both of you guys are human, right? Or same species, and that your worst self was you at one point. Other than that, I want you to make sure that you live your life the complete opposite way of how your worst self does. Cool. Now you know your pain points. Now you know what you don't want to do and you don't want to be. Now let's go to the other end of the spectrum. Now think about your passions. Think about what you love to do. What you want to see yourself doing in a year, and whatever, just all that. And then write or type. I prefer typing, typing or writing. Get like a Google document or something, or get like a sheet of paper. You think about this, I feel like it's just going to go out the other year, but that's just my opinion. This is what you can do. So you can just write down everything what you did with your worst self. I'm just gonna recap it real quick. You can write down habits. You can write down occupation. You can write down everything. You can just write all that down. What I said about like your worst self, right? Everything you want to be doing and everything that your best self would be doing, like habits, occupation, etc., relationships, etc. I think you got the gist. Now you know what you want to be doing. Now, what I want you to promise yourself is that you'll be striving, whatever your best self is doing, whatever the passion that he's pursuing or the purpose that he's in, I want you to be pursuing that purpose for at least 1 year. At least 1 year. And I know there might be a chance that you'll lose interest in the passion before that 1 year block ends. But again, I want you to assure yourself that no matter what happens, no matter how much interest you lose in that passion, that you're gonna chase it, you're gonna pursue it, and you're gonna fulfill it in the best way possible. And of course, if you want to do something else, then make sure to do that. Make sure to do everything what I said before. Just do some deep thinking about your life. Have that internal conversation with yourself. Then take that and put it to another path towards your mission. But just don't make sure it's a rationale for you to burn out in your mission. It should just be a pathway to your mission. And your mission should be very precisely determined. You have to really think about what you want to be doing in your life. And if you do that, you'll most likely know what you want to be doing for at least 1 year. For at least 1 year. Just strive for it 1 year. If you do that, then change it if you want. Just strive for it for 1 year. Cool. So number 2, you found your why. Cool. Now the second step in this mini guide is to be obsessed. Since you found your why, now you'll need to put it into action. You need to actually do it. Because what's the point of you knowing what you want to do in life if you're not going to take any action? So you have to go all the way for your newfound purpose. Because this is another thing that I fell victim to before. I would think about something and be like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Barely put in work, barely put in effort, and just mediocre results, mediocre productivity, and therefore, I'm not really pursuing my purpose. I'm just lying to myself, essentially. So what I want you to do so you don't fall victim to the same problem that I have is to grow your obsession for it. You need to constantly envision and imagine yourself in that dream state. You have to constantly imagine and envision yourself, your best self, every single day. Make it something you'll think about every single day, so that you can get yourself hyped. You can get yourself hyped and hey, I want to be getting there. I want to be being at the top. I want to get to the top. I want to be in that end goal. And by 3 to 4 weeks, you'll become obsessed with that purpose, which essentially then you'll be obsessed with your why. Because if you're not obsessed with it, so now you're thinking, envisioning yourself in that dream state. If you don't feel fixated on it by at least 3 to 4 weeks, then that isn't your purpose, and you need to learn about yourself more. So, when you get that deep love for your purpose and the need for you to fulfill it, take action and learn about it consistently so you can keep yourself obsessed with this purpose. Keep that obsession alive. Because that obsession will be the leading force for your purpose and your why. Oh, this doesn't necessarily have to even be small-term goals. This necessarily doesn't have to be long-term goals. It can be small-term goals. It can be, I'm thinking one on top of my head, losing weight. Check out my losing weight video if you need to lose weight. But yeah, losing weight. You could keep envisioning yourself and imagining yourself in, let's say you lose 20 pounds and you keep envisioning yourself 20 pounds slimmer, or just slimmer in general. You keep doing that, and you'll become fixated with that dream self, that best self, and you'll become determined, you'll become motivated to work hard to get yourself to that goal. So this is a very amazing step you can do right after you find your why. So, bottom line, start cherishing and obsessing over your dream life. And the next point, the next step, whatever you like to call it, may not strike you watching through this the first time. But nonetheless, this is a very good step to think about after. Not a lot of self-improvement YouTubers will tell you this, but the next step is to build pressure and delude yourself on how to find your why and how to have a deep connection with your why. Now, this might sound like a pretty crazy and unappealing tip, right? But this is extremely important. Let me tell you why. In order for you to really feel some responsibility for this why and this purpose, you need to start building inner arbitrary pressure to get it done, to get yourself accounted for, and get yourself some stakes. You just get yourself to have some stakes to lose. You can become absolutely driven. Now let me tell you a quick story about, I'm sure you guys know him, but Michael Jordan, a legendary basketball player who played for the NBA. If you guys didn't know him, he's a legendary NBA player who is a basketball player. So cool. But literally, Michael Jordan, petty is not even a word to describe him. Michael Jordan was just on his stuff when it came to inner arbitrary pressure. He had a me versus the world type of mindset, and that obviously correlated for him. If you know basketball, you know the NBA, you obviously know, Google search him. Michael Jordan. Search him up on YouTube. You'll see how much success bro has. But anyways, so let me tell you a quick story. So Michael Jordan, like a few years, long time ago, but Michael Jordan was snubbed from becoming the MVP to another player on his team. If I'm not mistaken, correct me in the comments, but Charles Barkley, I think he was on his team or something like that. Something of those sorts. He was on his team, and Charles Barkley was awarded MVP instead of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was pissed. He was angry. He wanted to become MVP. He wanted to become the top guy in the basketball court. And because of that, he was snubbed from becoming MVP. He wanted to embarrass Charles Barkley. So he did that. In a later game, he washed him and just embarrassed him on that game, just like that. Just embarrassed him just like that. Now, am I saying to be that petty? No, I'm not. I'm not saying to be that petty. But, like I said, Michael Jordan had a me versus the world type of mindset. And that made him, driven. That gave him pressure to get it done. He saw people who possibly slightly disrespected him or embarrassed him. There was this one instance where Michael Jordan was, one guy passed through him and he didn't say anything. And Michael Jordan took that as an opportunity and a calling for him to make that guy wrong, make that person, he was on his list. I'm not a basketball guy, but that's Michael Jordan made that, he needed to embarrass that person. He needed to get that done. And because of that, obviously you know how much success he has now. To get out his tip is to build inner pressure. Because most likely, you don't have any stakes, hopefully. You're not really going through anything right now. You don't, if you decide one day No matter how far you're in your purpose and how much you like it. Well, if one day you decide, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't care about self improvement. I don't care. I don't care about going to the gym anymore. I just want to lay down in my bed and do nothing, and just chill out. Just have a good time with myself. Why am I going to the gym? Why am I self improving? It's a waste of time. Why am I reading books? Why am I watching videos on entrepreneurship? I can just go get myself a nice little desk job. Okay. What's stopping you from having that epiphany in yourself? Probably not a lot, right? So, unless you have a necessity to have that purpose, for example, top of my mind, you need to become rich so that you can retire your parents that work multiple jobs. That will actually give you great pressure to get that done. But let's say in the same instance that you want to become rich, you want to be the first person in your family to become a millionaire. Okay, but let's say you're living in a middle-class suburban area. Your parents are doing well. Your people are doing well. Everybody in your circle is doing well. Now you don't have any pressure to get it done. And there's no stakes for you to get it done. And obviously there's nothing wrong with living in a middle-class suburban area. But you don't have any pressure compared to the person who has a lot of pressure and a lot of stakes to go through to retire their parents who work multiple jobs. So, what I want you to do is to give yourself either a time limit, like in this date I have to get that done, otherwise my purpose has failed. Or make up just random arbitrary scenarios like Michael Jordan. Because let me tell you this. It's a literal psychology trick that people do more when they expect less. Vice versa. It's literally a psychology trick. So if you are in great situation, you're living well, you're gonna probably perform with less or fewer intensity from that, because you have no stakes to get it done. But you have to make those stakes. You either have to give yourself a time limit, or you have to make up scenarios like MJ. Not exactly like MJ, but you can do something like that. You can say that people don't respect me. I'm not respected in my circle. I don't have any status in my circle. I don't have any purpose. I am a loser. Stuff like that, for example. Think about that, and that will build up pressure. That's like, wow, I'm like that. I like that other person has a freaking Lambo at 19, and I am in my room. Think of that. That will give you inner pressure to get it done. And when you have that inner pressure, and when you have that delusion in your mind, it could even be good delusion. Like, you need to have this so that you can have that. You can have that. You can have that. Just the mindset of getting more. And that will build up your why and completely renovate your whole purpose in a whole new way than it ever been. So that's my video. I hope my video was helpful. This is pretty good. This is pretty going to be a long video. So, hope you enjoyed it. And if you like, comment down your dream life and comment down what you don't want to be, so that I can like it, and that you can go back to that video if you want and just really see yourself like when you actually made it, like that comment, and make your past self proud if you want. Subscribe, like, share this with somebody who needs this. Reject complacency and embrace strength. Peace.